We've already looked out over Shechem and Kever Yosef. We've spoken about how by Shechem there can be no greater place and no worse place. It has the potential for either extreme, but it all depends on properly connecting the unique potential of the place from a commercial and international political perspective with the ways of the Torah. This is Yosef HaTzadik, who knew how to excel in the international world. This is the Nachalah of Bnei Yosef and the city given especially to him by Yaakov, Shechem Echad Halachecha, and where his body will ultimately be buried. Yosef HaTzadik could bear the outside world, but he too needed a strong anchor to keep him connected, and it wasn't easy. There truly are huge challenges. Rechavam ben Shlomo chose there specifically to be anointed in an attempt to keep the kingdom united under his control. He wants to pick up where his father Shlomo left off. One leader in control of both Yerushalayim and Shechem, the spiritual and economic capitals of Israel. It's a place still in the central mountains, but with roots leading out to economic centers around. It doesn't quite work out as Rechavam had hoped, however. Instead, Yeravam ben Nevat builds it up. Rechavam wants to fight, but the Navi tells him it's from Hashem. The two must split. But that doesn't mean they have to be divided. They can still work together. This is a tikkun for Shlomo's error. He meant well, but it was too much. The system couldn't run properly like that, like we mentioned in the Diving Deep session. So then we can understand why Yeravam would start off building up Shechem, as it shows that he's now in charge of the area, and not Rechavam, who tried to win their hearts there. He doesn't stay there, however, as he has much more ambitious goals. His next center is Pnuel. Pnuel links in the Eivra Yarden Shvatim. It also perhaps keeps the connection with some of the paths in Eivra Yarden. There is, however, another connection. Like Beitel, Pnuel is a place where Yaakov received the name Yisrael. Here, however, as opposed to Beitel, he fought for that name. He won it in a battle, and it became his legacy. Yeravam had been promised the political and economic sides of the kingdom, but he decided that it's not enough. He decides to show that he has both the historical or physical means and the spiritual backing as well. The message being, we don't need Yehuda in the Beis HaMikdash at all. Just as Yehuda had the monopoly over power, both from a political and spiritual perspective, instead of a tikkun where it would be divided and hopefully they would work together, the pendulum has swung back to the opposite extreme, and Yeravam ben Nevat now tries to monopolize it all for himself. As such, he builds a mikdash specifically there in Beitel, showing that his kingdom has the spiritual element as well. No need to go back to Yerushalayim. But then why Dan? There could be a number of reasons. Firstly, Dan was already a place of worship from the time that the mikdash of Pesach Micha was moved to there. But it seems it's even more than that. We often hear of Dan to Beersheba as the borders of the land. Now his borders are from Dan to Beitel, meaning the end of Ephraim. Binyamin, for now, joined with Yehuda, and again will be the center of a tug-of-war between the two, just like in Parshas V'yigash when Yehuda and Yosef battle it out over Binyamin. For now, these are their borders, and so placing an egel on either side is turning the entire kingdom of Israel into the kapores, the cover of the Aron HaBris, the place where the word of Hashem emanated from. Meaning, the message of Korach comes back, Kol Ha'am Kedoshim. This is also symbolized in taking Kohanim Dafka not from Shevet Levi. We're all holy. You can't monopolize the Kedusha in Yerushalayim. Perhaps it was a similar impetus that led to Pesach Micha being created to begin with. Of course it was evil and corrupt, but it was a bad solution to a problem that did truly exist, the corruption of the Kahuna and the holy site of Shiloh. The outcome was a feeling of repulsion by the system of Kedusha and a feeling that we're all holy and would be better off without it. But that leads, of course, to Ish HaYashar Be'einav Yaseh, the Shoftim period, an invitation for a perversion of Kedusha for personal interests. The division of the kingdoms is the cause of the fall of the Beis HaMikdash. But this is where the two kingdoms really divide. They could have split, but remained bridged with the goal of true Kedusha if Gaiva hadn't gotten in the way. This is displayed in the Midrash of Yeravam, walking with Hashem, as we'll note in the next video. In the meantime, Rechavam accepted the words of the Navi and didn't fight in the end, because it's from Hashem. It's his will. If Yeravam would have accepted the words of the Navi as well, he wouldn't have been worried about losing his mission when they go to worship in Yerushalayim. It could have been perfect, each advancing the nation according to their strengths. But no, The desire for absolute power and the lack of bitachon that Hashem will fulfill his nevuah led to Yeravam now overstepping and taking the power that wasn't left for him. There is a nekudah v'emet there. Torah is for everyone. Kedusha is for everyone. But there must be a balance. When Torah is twisted, and Kedusha is corrupted, capitalized on, exploited, and used as a tool to advance any other agenda, then we're in grave danger. The one thing we really have is emes. In a monopoly, there's no competition to ensure fair treatment of the masses. When we split up and each has to answer to each other in a form of checks and balances, each can encourage growth in the area of their strength and keep the other in check. But only if they can work together in mutual respect and appreciation. Yes, even Torah giants like Yeravam ben Nevat, who could have walked in Gan Eden with Hashem, is in danger of making terrible, terrible decisions when political power and the goal to advance Kedusha in the nation are intertwined inappropriately. When politics trumps the quest for Kedusha, and Kedusha confuses itself with politics, the two become corrupted and at times even hard to differentiate. Just like the Nevi'im, who without careful attention to detail, even looking back they look so similar, it's hard to understand at first glance which is a Navi Emet and which is a Navi Sheker.